all right, the Lions are back on primetime, Monday Night Football in Baltimore. To me, this feels like the kind of game that, if the Lions win, we're back to talking Super Bowl hopefuls. Mm-hmm. If they lose, I don't think anybody's really panicking. What sort of chance do you give them tonight?
I think they have a chance. It's going to come down, can they stop Lamar and can they stop Derrick Henry? I mean, we kind of know what it is going into it. They've never had good success stopping Lamar or any running quarterback for that matter. And so I'm worried, but I do think they can score on Baltimore. I think their offense, I felt really good about how they turned it around on the offensive line last week, from week 1 to week 2. If the offensive line from week 2 shows up tonight, they have a good chance to win.
So the key to you is the offensive line.
It is, yeah, it is to me. I have no expectations that the defensive line will get pressure on Lamar. No expectations that they'll be able to stop him from running, and have great hopes about them being able to stop Derrick Henry, to be honest. But I do think the offense can keep up. I don't think Baltimore's defense is as prominent as it has been in the past.
Yeah, see, you touched on it right at the end there. I think it feels so dangerous to go into a game against Lamar Jackson without a pass rush. And, unless Aiden Hutchinson has one of it. You remember how he kind of took over against the Cowboys last year?
Right.
Unless he has one of those sorts of games, to me, it's Lamar's arm that scares me most because I'm not sure he's going to have to run much if the Lions aren't back there.
Yeah, if they give him all the time in the world, if he gets as much time as Jordan Love had in week 1, he's going to pick them apart.
He is perfectly capable of doing that without ever crossing the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's the danger. And if we're back here next week talking about how the Lions got blown out, I think it will be because they weren't able to get any pressure.
Yeah, you did allude to it, though. If they lose, I'm not sure it's a huge deal. I don't think there's a great expectation that even going into the season that they were going to win this game.
No.
So if they're 1-2, but then have Cleveland and Cincinnati over the next 2 weeks, and you end up at 3-2, I think everybody's kind of going to be, they are what they are. And the division is kind of taking a turn, so we'll talk about that a little later. But so I think I do agree with you. If they win, they're back in the conversation.
Yeah, if you win at Baltimore, you can win anywhere. I still do feel that
in prime time. Lamar in prime time, Baltimore in prime time, Lamar on Monday night. You've heard all those stats. He's like 7-2. So is Goff, but he's 7-2. No, I saw some stat floated yesterday about Lamar against NFC teams. I'm not, like 24-2 or something. I'm not sure that matters in any way, but he's good in prime time. It's not the playoffs, so he's not going to choke. So you're getting peak Lamar tonight.
Yeah, I think that the Lions, this is a good spot to be in because they were so convincing in their win last week that they can kind of, as long as they don't get blown out against the Ravens, they can kind of just see where they're at. Like you said, Cleveland, the Bengals coming up, no Joe Burrow. You feel good about that. One thing that Ben said last week has stuck in my mind, that the Lions, this coaching staff in particular, is such a stickler for these like revenge or payback opportunities. And I've been seeing sort of all the quotes out there about the players remembering how it felt a couple years ago.
Yeah, 38-6, right? That was a beatdown.
It felt like the biggest blowout I've seen. Not scoreboard-wise, but just based on how the game went, it just felt like the Lions got physically dominated. And, so I'm sort of keeping that in the back of my mind. Maybe the Lions can have something to say about that. But I think if they play a tight, competitive game and they're in it, I think we're all probably going to come back feeling really good.
Yeah, if they win but don't cover, I think the spread was 4.5.
Yeah.
I think you're okay.
For sure.
You're not expecting to win every game this season. If this is one of the losses, obviously you don't want to lose, but you do want to play well. They need to play well. They need to look like week 2 Detroit and not, week 1 Detroit.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was panicking after week 1, but I think the way that the Lions lost gave us
definitely panicking.
Okay, maybe nobody here, but we were a little bit concerned because of the way they lost, not that they lost. Speaking of week 1, I think we were sort of teetering on the edge of, are the Packers the best team in the NFL?
17-0, for sure.
And then they go and lose to the Browns. Meanwhile, the Vikings and the Bears looked pretty good last week. They both bounced back. So coming into this third game for the Lions, where do you stand on the NFC North as a whole?
I'm shocked by yesterday.
Yeah.
You should never be shocked by stuff that happens in the NFL, but Cleveland, the worst team probably in the NFL. Although I do think their defense is pretty good and super underrated. Losing to the Packers, it kind of everything you thought after 2 weeks is out the window and you're starting over. But that is the NFL.
Right.
So I think it's anybody's division. And by anybody, I mean it's Detroit and Green Bay still. Like, I'm not too worried about Minnesota. I'm definitely not worried about Chicago. They both looked okay yesterday. Carson Wentz, I mean, they were playing a really bad Cincinnati team with no Joe Burrow. So I don't know. I don't put too much into that win. I do think that we may see more Carson Wentz than J.J. McCarthy for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that too. I mean, the Vikings defense definitely set the tone in that game.
Of course. I mean, they
scored what, three defensive touchdowns or something. So that certainly helps. And like you said, the Bengals look terrible without Joe Burrow. I mean, the Lions might catch a little bit of a break there because that was looking like a tough road game. But my takeaway is that the Packers, until I can't get the image of the Packers versus the Lions out of my mind just because they lost to Cleveland, but I do sort of think that was a coming back to earth moment, and maybe the Lions are still in it. If you can get them at home, that's a Thanksgiving Day game, right? If you can get them and even up that head-to-head, the Lions are right back in it. So, yeah. Hopefully they can, at least one Detroit team can beat Cleveland. I mean, if the Tigers lose
lose the division and then the Lions lose the Browns, I'm not worried about that at all.
I'm pulling a Ben next week if that happens.
For the record, I'm already scheduled to not be here next Monday. We have a meeting next Monday at 1 for a huge Local 4 announcement. We'll make that later, but there's a huge meeting next week. I will not be here. It is not because the Tigers are going to miss the playoffs or the Lions lost.
Yeah, okay.
But if that does happen, you can just not tune into Detroit Sports Plus next week because none of us will be here.
Definitely don't do that, though.
But still tune in.
Before we set you free, we got to talk a little bit of college football. We'll be right back after this.